GLA mission 4, but Deathless. So for this one, we can't lose any units. I can't use hijackers at all. I can't occupy any vehicles except the toxin supply trucks. I gotta destroy the airfield, and I can't build any units from the USA barracks. Alrighty, let's go. So this isn't my first time doing a video on GLA mission 4. So the last time I did it with the exact same rules, except it wasn't Deathless. So this is going to be the Deathless variation of the same challenge. So starting off, we've got our rebels at the other section. So basically, a bunch of them are going to garrison one building, the other is going to capture the hospital, and Jarman Kel is going to ride the ferry alone. We don't need to snipe the USA vehicles because we're not going to occupy them. The hijackers are just going to stay where they are, and now it's just a waiting game on those 4 rebels to get to the garrison building, so then we can take out the Humvees. So I would say about maybe the first 10 minutes of the challenge sort of plays out in the same way. I'm doing the same tricks and tactics to get to where I want to go. But there are going to be some differences later on because I found better and more efficient ways to, deal with the bunkers, for example, or defend my base. So for this mission, when I did it the first time round, I did it with very little knowledge of how that mission actually worked. I didn't study it properly. So I was able to beat the challenge, but there were more efficient ways that I could have done it. So this is me armed with all the knowledge and also the comments from that previous video. And so now I'm really ready to go when it comes to this mission. So for those that didn't watch the first video, I'll just give you a rundown of what's going on. So I ended up moving Jarman Kel through a minefield. There's a lot of demo traps along that beach area, but I know where the demo traps are, so I can just alt path Jarman Kel to safety. The normal way you would do it is you would occupy a radar van, and the radar van comes with the radar scan ability, so you would just use the radar scan to reveal the demo traps, and then move around the demo traps, or destroy them if you got other units that can do that, and get the extra veterancy. So those are the normal ways of doing it. Now with our rebels, we're just going to keep occupying those buildings, just garrisoning them, so then we can use the buildings as shields to protect the rebels from destruction. That's what I did in the last video too. Now, I did get some reinforcements on the other side, so extra rebels, also hijackers and terries. Now here's the thing, I was reliant on terries in the first video, but because this is Deathless now, I can't use the terries because, well, they would count as a unit lost if I ended up using them. So this will be a little bit harder, not having the terries, because I was using them towards the end of the mission where I was trying to defend my supply trucks from being destroyed, trying to make sure that every pathway was blocked off. Now with our rebels at the bridge, see, what I want to do is I want to get the attention of the 2 Crusader tanks, and my rebels are actually camouflaged, so I'm going to force fire the bridge and just inch my way closer to get the attention of those Crusaders. So we got both of them, and that's exactly what I want. Meanwhile, I got other rebels trying to capture the artillery platform, so the artillery platform is going to take out the Patriot. Meanwhile, the rebels that are dealing with the Crusaders, we're just luring them over to another building that we can garrison, and then that way, just like with the Humvees, we can use the building as a shield, and we can just shoot off the Crusaders one by one. Now, the rebels that took out the Tomahawks and the medic, I did that so then I can get the veterancy. Again, we can't occupy the vehicles, so there's no point in sniping them with Jarman Kel. And with Jarman Kel, if I wanted veterancy, I can just keep picking off more infantry as we go through the mission too. So now that the Crusaders are out of the way, I'm going to evac one of my rebels, so then we can get to our next destination. So we need to drain the water so then we can get the rebels and Jarman Kel to move to where the airfield and the next batch of reinforcements are. So I'm going to stop there with our rebel because I need to wait on the artillery platform to destroy the Patriot. Now in this mission, it seems that the Patriots have a shorter range compared to normal Patriots. Also, these Patriots don't spawn 3 ranges when you destroy them. Now with the other one, we don't have to destroy that, but if you force fire just close enough to the Patriot, you can eventually destroy it. But all we're going to do with our rebel is we're just going to move around, and then we're just going to get into that building. That way we can drain the water and progress to the next part of the mission. So now that we've drained the water, we're just going to be relying on the 2 rebels in Jarman Kell. The thing is, the other rebels that destroyed the Crusader tanks and the Humvees, I can't move them any more forward because there's pathfinders and bunkers. So I don't want to get sniped here because I'll take a death. So we're just going to be using these 3 units plus this batch of reinforcements from here on out. So we're just going to free the reinforcements. We can't use the hijackers, but the rocket troops and the rebels, absolutely. So I ended up skipping over the airfield, and the reason why I did that is because I want to destroy the airfield with the rocket troops, and that is a requirement. One of the rules is I must destroy the airfield here. So we're going to use the rocket troops to do that for me. That way I can get the extra veterancy for the rocket troops, and then they can do more damage and they can have more HP as well as we go. So now that we've destroyed the airfield, we're going to use our rocket troops in Jarman Kell to just keep occupying these buildings. So I'm a bit more reliant on Jarman Kell for this video because I want him to get to Vet 3 faster. I want to have him with faster fire rate, so then he can pick off the infantry inside the bunkers when we destroy the bunkers. So when it comes to the bunkers, the normal way of dealing with them is to occupy a toxin tractor and then use the toxin tractor to clear out those garrisons without actually destroying them. Now, the last time we did this, I ended up doing it with the rocket troops. Basically, I was moving him back and forth and then letting the hospital self-heal. Now, this is the first major difference. I'm moving my rocket troops in a way where I can actually hit the Patriot without really taking any damage. I did try and do it with 4 rocket troops, but I was taking some damage there, so we're just going to use 2 rocket troops to destroy that Patriot. So the Patriots will discover my stealthy rebels, so by getting rid of the Patriot, we can now get our rebels to move through those 2 bunkers, and then they could go for the barracks, they could go for the power plants. The main thing we want though is the power plants here, so then we can get to the next step of the plan. So with our rebels, for safety, I'm just going to par them around, making sure that the other Patriot doesn't get to them as well, and they're going to run all the way down the map to where the power plants are. So I do need the rebels to actually destroy the power plants, so that way we can neutralize the Patriot, and then our rocket troops can destroy the bunker and then get to the airstrip more easily. So to kill some time, I got 2 of my rocket troops to fire on the bunker that's on the left. So this is the old method of destroying the bunkers that I did in the last video. So I walk forward, take a few shots, then walk back. If they're Vet 2 or higher, then they'll self-heal. If they're not, then the hospital will self-heal them for me. So that's all I would do. And the last video I did, I think it was over an hour long, and a lot of that is just because I was doing that same method of using 4 rocket troops to move forward, take a few shots, move back. So yeah, I was trying to do that as carefully and patiently as I could. Now with our rebels, we're picking off these power plants here, but I'm trying to spread the veterancy around, that way they can all be Vet 2 or higher. So now that the power has been taken down for the US, it does mean that I can use my rocket troop to destroy the bunker, but this is a different method of destroying the bunker. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take 1 rocket trooper and we're going to hug the left side of the road here. We just want 1 rocket trooper anymore, and we could take a death here, and we're going to move him to this tree here that you see. But we're not quite in the right position, so we do need to zoom in, and we're just going to go just to my right of the tree there, and we're able to get shots off on the bunker without the bunker actually hitting my rocket trooper. So the rangers inside the bunker should be within range, but because of the terrain, they can't hit my rocket troop. And as for Jarman Kell, he's going to stand right next to my rocket trooper. That way he's in position to snipe the infantry inside the bunker. So this is why I wanted Jarman Kell to get to Vet 3 right away. So then we got that increased fire rate to take out the infantry before the infantry take out the rocket trooper, because he is pretty close to those infantry there. So with the bunker destroyed and the infantry neutralized, it does mean my rocket troops can pass through much more easily. Now the 3 bunkers that are at that section, we don't actually have to destroy those. So that's the thing, I can just hug left and move to that airstrip, and I don't have to worry about any of that. I can just move on to the Patriots. So I want to destroy the Patriots so then I can get the veterancy. And I'm going to get my Jarman Kell into position so then we can destroy the next bunker. So the bunkers that are coming up where the supply trucks are, those do need to be destroyed. I'm also going to destroy the US barracks here so then I can get some extra veterancy for my rebels. So just like the first bunker we destroyed, I have a method for the other bunkers too. So this time around we're going to move our rocket troop over to where Jarman Kell is. But I need to move him in a way where the rangers inside the bunkers don't shoot him, because he's going to die otherwise. So he's only going to take damage from the missile defenders from that bunker plus the bunker that's off to the right too. So we're going to be just fine. We'll take a little bit of damage, but he's vet 3, so he's going to be able to self-heal anyway. Same goes if he was unvetted, the hospital would do the work, but he wouldn't have as much HP. So going for the vet 3 to pair up with Jarman Kell, that's just fine. Meanwhile, we do have our rebels and rocket troops that are destroying the Patriots. Now with the rebels, I want them to hang out at the garrisons that we want to use later on to protect our supply trucks from the US forces that are going to come in later on. So I've pretty much done all I need to do with the rebels and the rocket troops at the Patriots for now. So we're going to go back to the rocket trooper with Jarman Kell. So with this guy, we've got to get him into position. So he's going to take shots on the Patriot. That's not what I want. I want him to force fire right next to the bunker. So that's still going to damage the bunker here, but the bunker can't hit back. So the Patriot is actually in the way, so I can't actually fire on my rocket trooper here. And we've got Jarman Kell just in position, so once the bunker gets destroyed, we can use Jarman Kell to snipe all the infantry that was inside. And we're going to select our rocket troop and move him right away. That way he doesn't get shot by the infantry that try and give chase to him. So just like that, another bunker down. More to go, so we do need to take out all of these bunkers, not just one. So this time round we're going to force fire, and we're going to use this garrison building as cover as well. So that's the strategy, is we're using Patriots and civilian buildings as cover to protect the rocket troops from taking any damage. Meanwhile, with our rebels, we're destroying some of these civilian buildings. That way we can open up the map a little bit more, and then the rocket troops that garrison the buildings we do want to keep will be able to fire on the USA vehicles much more easily. Now, we did get control over the supply trucks, but I don't want them to move. I don't want them to go towards the bunkers or anything like that. I just want them to stay, and then once we deal with the bunkers, we can focus on getting the resources down to where the plane is. Meanwhile, with those rebels, just going to keep destroying more civilian buildings to open up the map more for those rocket troopers later on. Now with our rocket trooper, we're force firing using the Patriot once again as cover, and then Jarman Kell is going to snipe off the infantry inside the bunker. So we just have 2 bunkers to go here, and then we can focus on getting the remaining veterancy for our rebels, and then defending the supply trucks from the USA vehicles and Comanches that try and attack them. So for this bunker here, we're going to force fire in between the Patriot and the bunker. So once again, the Patriot is going to get in the way of the bunker, and the bunker can't hit me. So we're going to retreat with our rocket trooper, let Jarman do the work, and then get the rocket trooper to get into position for the next one. So this one here is a little bit trickier because he is a little bit closer to this bunker. So it does mean I need to make sure that Jarman snipes all the guys inside before they can actually take any shots on that rocket trooper. But all is well here because we got rid of all the bunkers, and now we can focus on getting the veterancy for the rebels. So what we're doing is we're using the rebels to take out the Patriots. So we're just going to let all the vet 2s deal with those, get them up to vet 3, and then we can move on to actually setting them all up in the right garrisons that we want for defending ourselves from the USA forces. So far I've only done 1 batch of deliveries with these supply trucks. I'm not going to do any more because it means that the USA will spawn in and attack, and I'm not ready yet. I still need to get the veterancy with the rebels and also get the infantry into position to defend against those USA vehicles and Comanches. So right now what we've done so far is we've got 1 rocket trooper inside a building next to the supply center that the supply trucks are gathering the resources from. So that building has actually got infinite health. It cannot be destroyed. I've got the RD platform. I've also garrisoned another building with 1 rocket trooper to the left of that supply center. I've got 1 building with 9 rebels and 1 rocket trooper, and another building with 1 rebel inside. The building with the 1 rebel, that's meant to be like a meat shield to take some of the damage, because I don't want the building with the 9 rebels and the 1 rocket trooper to get destroyed. So here comes the attacks finally, and my defense overall I would say about 95% solid. The only X factor is going to be the Comanches, and if the Comanches fly in and get to the cargo plane, then I've got 1 rocket trooper there to defend. and I just gotta hope that my defense at the start is going to be enough to damage those Comanches, and then my one rocket trooper at the cargo plane can finish the job before the Comanche can destroy him. Now with Jarman Kell, I've also got him nearby. You don't actually need Jarman Kell. You know, like, you could do this last part without him. You don't have to snipe any vehicles, and yeah, that's how it goes. I didn't need to snipe anything. I just relied on rebels and rocket troopers to do the last part. So we're given quite a lengthy break in between each wave of USA units that try and attack. So the thing is, I don't need to make any adjustments here. I'm happy with my formation, so I just gotta wait until the next wave of USA comes, which is going to be a Comanche and some Humvees and a Crusader tank. So this Comanche here decided to get past my first line of defense, but they ended up flying north to where my rocket trooper is to the left of the supply center. So we're still able to get shots off on that and destroy it. They actually went for my arty platform, which, I mean, I'm good with that. I don't mind. As long as they don't go for the supply trucks, we're good. So now we just got to wait for the next wave of USA forces, and we're down to 11 toxins remaining. So we're getting very close. We're at the halfway point pretty much. So once again, we're just playing the waiting game on the next batch of USA forces. So this next batch of USA forces is going to be Humvees, Crusader tank, and 2 Comanches. So the 2 Comanches, they actually split off, and so I was like, okay, one's probably going to go for the top right corner, so we're good there. But no, they actually both flew in the same direction to the left of the supply center, so we're able to destroy one Comanche. The other one decided to go for my artillery platform. I think the first one that we destroyed was either going to go for supply trucks or for my garrison itself. So this is the only real change I made to my formation, is just to evac, garrison the next building, shoot the Comanche, then go back. That was the only change I made to my formation. So now I just got to wait on the next batch of USA vehicles to come by. There's only going to be vehicles from here on out. There's going to be no more Comanches. So that whole X factor about supply trucks getting destroyed, that's squashed. There's absolutely no way that the US can actually destroy any of my vehicles. So with this next batch, we've got a bunch of them going to the top right corner. Meanwhile, I can just click attack, and that's going to attack faster. Meanwhile, the invincible building is just going to keep destroying these vehicles, and the artillery platform is going to help out. See, the vehicles, they just like to hang out at that one building. So it's very good advice that I got from the comments in the last video about that. If I didn't know about that, I would have been in a bit more trouble this time round. So it's pretty much smooth sailing from here on out. I'm still going to manually target these tanks so then I can fire on them faster and destroy them faster before they can actually destroy my garrison. So that's the only thing that could possibly go wrong, is if they destroy the garrison and then destroy the infantry inside. But the thing is, my toxin supply trucks are able to get their deliveries off faster than they can actually destroy the garrison building outright. So I don't have to worry about that either. So the USA are ramping up their attacks, but the attacks are mainly going to be going for the top right corner with the invincible building. So I don't have to worry too much about all of these attacks, and I can just continue to monitor this garrison building and then just manually attack each tank and each Humvee that comes my way. So when it comes to this section of the mission, I actually spent hours trying to put together this defense. This was the best possible defense that I could come up with. I did test it with other buildings, but it just turned out that the other buildings that I tried to garrison, like the ones that I destroyed earlier on in the battle, they just weren't as effective at destroying these vehicles, because there were cases where some vehicles would pass by, or, you know, I'd have to rely on Jarman Kell to snipe the vehicles, you know, things of that nature. So yeah, these two buildings, you wouldn't think it, you'd probably think go for the bigger building that's got more HP, but these two buildings did a really good job at actually defending you know, against these vehicles that tried to attack the supply trucks. So now we've just reached the end of the mission. So that is going to be how we did GLA mission 4 Deathless. We didn't use any hijackers, we didn't occupy or use any vehicles except toxin supply trucks. We did destroy the airfield, and we didn't build any units from the USA barracks. So if you enjoyed this one, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do have a playlist if you want to check out any of my other content. I'm Crackler, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.